of Macroactive, Ken Brickley, to the stage.
We help influencers in the health and wellness industry turn their followers into subscribers. We provide a completely turnkey business in a box that enables them to deliver customized meal plans, training programs, and mindset programs, all wrapped up inside of their own branded app. Whether it's trainers or influencers or former athletes, they all seem to have the same problem. They run out of hours in a day. And no matter how much they charge for their services, they keep hitting the ceiling of really not being able to truly scale their impact. We help them by automating all of the manual tasks so that they can spend more of their time working on their business instead of being a slave to it.
If you or someone you know is struggling to keep up with demand, Macroactive is the perfect partner to help you scale your impact and reignite your passion for your business.
Ken Brickley, the CEO of Macroactive, and we're going to kick things off with a few fun-filled, rapid-fire questions. So, describe your company in one word.
Impact.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received as a CEO?
Let's see, it's revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is reality.
So, in that case, if you had to choose growth or profit,
well, let's see, you're talking to someone who bootstrapped to 10 million, so growth if you have the cash and sound unit economics.
Brilliant. And what's the first thing you do each morning to prepare for the day?
You're going to love this. I check Stripe.
After coffee, right?
Seriously, we have, every morning I look at the sales that came in from Europe and overseas, and yeah.
I got to promise you that wasn't a contrived question. So I've been getting to know Ken over the last few months, and he showed me the Stripe dashboard more than once to show me how well they're doing. So it's real. So we're going to dive into the story behind the CEO. How did your early days shape the entrepreneur that sits in front of us today?
Well, let's see. I had a unique education. Didn't occur in the classroom. I actually had a mentor throughout college, and every day I would drive him to and from work. He was a little bit older and couldn't drive very well. He was the chairman of the board of a large industrial company, and he would give me real-world problems from his business in the car ride to and from, and he'd say, go get the answers from your professors. And it was really until I could understand the concepts well enough to be able to, convey them to an old fella in the car with no visuals. I got good at storytelling, and then later showing the CEO, and he would make me. Somewhere in there I fell in love with business, and a student body president at my university, and having to corral 30 plus volunteer students to get anything done. It was a challenge, an opportunity. I was always exhilarated by it, and at some point I realized, hey, I'm good at this.
It sounds like a great way to grow up with your pop involved. Looking back, any aha moments or lessons that you'd like to share?
Okay. Hard lessons. Let's see. I probably would have gone into sales a lot sooner in my career. Honestly, there's something that you learn about understanding the anxiety of a customer before they become a customer, and that just makes you a better leader, a better decision maker, a better marketer. Yeah.
So let's talk about your driving force then. How did you arrive at your why, and how does it steer your business decisions?
I years ago had the good fortune to go through a performance psychologist come and do a workshop with us, a guy named Nicky Nemiroff, and he made us go through
an exercise where we had to choose a single word that represented what we stood for. And like if you were to think, like, why were you put on this earth in one word? And my word was the word helping. And I'd always been helped quite a bit, and I just got a lot of enjoyment out of helping people. And at Macroactive now, you know, our mission is to help coaches and creators scale their impact, and that word is in there very intentionally. And anyways, it's been a guiding principle.
So if it was 2 words to describe your company, to be helping and impact.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Let's pivot to global ambition. So you have an impressive footprint. You have end users in pretty much every country in the world, and users of your product in 35 countries. And I think you have users in Scott Base and Antarctica. How did you decide where to plant your first international flag?
It never occurred to us. Honestly, we were honest. It was all the English-speaking countries that Stripe existed in, and that was how we started. Our very first client, we had just so much feedback and demand from that client. So that was how we approached it, I suppose. The important thing, though, was niching down. So we really tried to define exactly who our customer was. And you know you have a good customer when they say, I can't believe I hadn't heard of you before. This is amazing. Like, and that's when you know you've got your niche right. And I had a mentor. I'll tell the story because we had a whole bunch of rocket scientists on before us. One of my mentors in college was the first salesperson at Oracle, and he was a trained rocket scientist. Taught me about niching, and he was responsible for a payload and rocket exploding, going up into space in the 70s, and they traced it back to his math problem. And he kept on explaining in the years following that, like, if only I had something that was, and he was describing a relational database. And everybody said, you gotta meet this guy, Larry Ellison. And when he did, he said, I can sell that to every single university in the world. And he did. And he later taught me a lesson about niching and told me that story. But it's, you really, the important thing is to narrow, find the exact right client, and then go global.
So what is Macroactive's niche?
We have coaches and creators in what we call the mid-market, and not the Kardashians, not the Mr. Beasts, but the coaches and creators that really care about helping their customers live happier and healthier lives. And that's something that we've curated over the years. We didn't know that right away, but we've gotten better at clocking it from a distance.
And any drawbacks to adopting a niche strategy, and like, is there a risk of limiting your audience?
Yeah, there can be. I think it's the most important thing is to get the niche right, you know, and then go global.
Okay. So going back to market entry, were there markets that you went into that you recognised as red flags, or what did you see out there? Were there things that were good indicators for you that a market might not be a good fit?
We have made so many mistakes over the years. We tend to look at the lens of international through sort of 4 filters: language, culture, which is different, distinctly different, technological hurdles, and then jurisdiction or regulatory type of frameworks. And Brazil, we got wrong. We thought, all we need to do is hire a whole bunch of people that speak Portuguese and we'll be able to go there. And then later realized that the cultural nuance of the exchange rate of the real We were just way too expensive in that market, and we pulled out. We gave a lot of thought into going into China. We had a lot of help from NZTE, great advisors they gave us on both. We were weighing out China and Middle East, and we went to Beijing, spent time there with one of our top clients. That's a whole nother story. We had so much demand. We visited like this university that pumps out tens of thousands of PTs a month or a semester, and we had so many people sign up to come to our event that we had to get the local government involved, because in China you're not allowed to have too many people congregating at once. I mean, we had body cams. I mean, it was. I almost got trampled. There was a lot of demand from China, and at the same time we had a lot of technical hurdles. You know, we had to have an owner of the company there, and it was regulatory stuff that when I compared that with going into the Middle East is really easy to do business with, and Dubai is sort of like Las Vegas of the rest of the world, and we just went there, and our creators would come to us. So it made it a lot easier.
So lots of challenges, lots of red flags. And
Red flags would be regulatory, the language, culture, and tech.
Okay, so we've got a lot of entrepreneurs in the room. Have you got any advice for how to mitigate these risks? How did you do that?
Advice to mitigate the risks. Answer the question who, not how. I think hiring is a really important aspect. And try and hire like way beyond what you can afford and get them fractional. Every single executive that we have at Macroactive has first started out as a fractional consultant. And what else can I tell you about that? Yeah, I think that's
Hiring
good
local
people. Get good people in market. If you're expanding and it's a sales-related role, try and partner. Try and give them enough incentive and maybe even no base, such that they can literally become millionaires inside of a term of contract if they hit it out of the park. So aligning all of your incentives. Listen, if you make them a millionaire, they're going to make your stock worth a lot.
Love it. All right, so shifting gears, let's talk about the power of connection and building community.
Yes, well, we have minted more than 36 millionaires now on Macroactive. We have a new platform. Yes, thank you. We're very, very proud of that. And more proud of the impact that they've had on so many others' lives. The difference between those and the ones that are not scaling is community. And so if you can build and nurture a community, and my advice is hire somebody from within your customer base to manage the community. Pay your customers to manage the community. That's a hack. They'll do a much better job than an employee from seed.
And are there any pitfalls of focusing on community too much instead of...
Well, if it doesn't bring you new customers, then why have a community? Our clients are very private, and so intentionally Macroactive has never had a community. We just finished acquiring one of our competitors that is more generic and more suited for any type of coach that has one-on-one clients, and we're proud to say that that's now released, www.vip.coach, and we will be building a community for that space. It's not the same sort of high profile, and so watch that space.
Watch the space, all right. So what about like partnerships to help with your in-market expansion, around market expansion?
Yes, partnerships are an interesting kettle of fish, or whatever the mixed metaphor is. If you get them right, they can really serve you well. If you get them wrong, they can create absolute chaos. And a lot of times you can spend a lot of time investing in them and they don't actually pay off. A few pieces of advice I'd give is, one, again, let them economically thrive in the contract that you set up with them. If you can, listen, New Zealand is on the bucket list of everyone I talk to overseas. They all want to come here. And if you can bring your new partner to New Zealand, oh my gosh, indoctrinate them. Have them bring their son or daughter or their spouse with them. Use New Zealand as a tool to send them back to their markets, telling absolutely everybody about their life-changing experience that they came down here, and show them all the things that New Zealand has to offer. That's definitely a hack that we've used. And the other thing, like how to find partners, I try and finagle my way into the VIP rooms at all events that I go to. Infamously snuck backstage the All In podcast last year to meet Mr. Beast. Hang out in VIP rooms. Go to these events. If there's a camera filming it, it's going to be broadcast on YouTube, skip it, watch it on 2 times on the plane home. Go to the geeky small sessions, but spend most of the time backstage or inside of the VIP rooms and get to know that you just work the rooms. Like you have partners inside of those rooms, and that's the best hack I could give you on that.
So if Ken's in the room, it means you're in the right room. I'm guessing that's the summary there. So we're flying through these external factors or industry trends that you see as threats for reaching your future goals.
There are too many to list. I met one of my old mentors and employers, Miles Valentine, at the airport on the way up here, and it reminded me of, he said, threats. I was sitting on a plane with him years ago, and I watched him receive news that his competitor bought his reseller at his largest channel. And in a moment, he just turned that into an opportunity. And I just remember being awed. I've thought about it over the years. Like, threats are a mindset. Every single threat can also be an opportunity.
It's more about how you respond to it. You can't control it.
100%.
You can't control pretty much anything.
Yeah. And certainly those outside of your control. Worry about those things that you can control.
So what's next for Macroactive, and how do you see your role evolving in the industry?
This is a crazy stat. 25% of graduating high school students want to work in the creator economy. 60% of all high school students. So there's a seismic shift coming, and I'm excited about it. I mean, they're certainly not going to use their mom and dad's stitching together software. They're born and raised on YouTube and cell phones and Minecraft, and they're just going to expect this business that they launch to run on their cell phone. And we see an opportunity for a premium layer of that approaching a $500 billion industry to expect to run their business from their pocket, and that's what Macroactive is building.
So deliver a platform that solves problems for small businesses, monetizing payments.
100%.
Globally. Brilliant. Awesome. So everything we've discussed after we've discussed everything about your journey, what final piece of advice would you like to leave with startup founders who are either embarking on their own journey or experiencing some of these challenges themselves?
The number one piece of advice I would give, and I think we got this right. I can't remember who told me to do this, but spend an uncomfortable, unusual amount of time with your customers. And a real hack is if you can do that with your prospects, because that nuance that I talked about before. But I mean, go on a road trip with them. Spend multiple days with your customers and or prospects. Day one, they're going to be they're gonna put on a show for you. But by day three, they're swearing, they're showing their stress, and you stuck in traffic with them. You see what kind of apps they're using on their phones, and it's those sorts of insights that are going to make you just overall better at what you do. So spend an incredible amount. You walk in their shoes, and I think that ethnographic research of your customers is the difference between. Well, it just lets you make way better decisions. And then on the topic of decisions, if I can add one more piece of advice, we met with dozens and dozens of VCs over the years, and we bootstrapped all the way until last year. It wasn't until we really found a partner that saw what we saw, and so many people that we talked to wanted us to change our business model and own the data that our customers, the end user customer data, and we just said no to that. No. We work with often athletes that then become coaches, that become creators, then entrepreneurs, and some of these entrepreneurs are making, 30+ millionaires. Kayla had seen us in Australia, sold her company for multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, there's no way they would have been able to do that if they didn't own their customer data. Now, why am I telling you this? Because as CEOs, as founders, sometimes it's difficult to, when there's a lot of money on the table, it's difficult to defend your client, defend your customers. And I think it's at the end of the day, you're going to get advice from all over the place, and a lot of it's going to be packed and loaded advice. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you've done first thing right, and you know your customers better than anyone else, then it's your job to defend them, and that will steer you right.
So, summing it up, especially as an executive, travel with your customers, get to know them inside and out, spend an uncomfortable and even a weird amount of time with them. I agree with that. I think that's good. And then if you know your customers, you better than anyone will be able to defend them when you need to make hard decisions. Yep. Brilliant. Awesome. Ken, it's been my absolute pleasure to host you today. Everybody please give...
Thank you.
Join me.